Now let's have a look at the NRL table after round 14. There are some surprises in here that I wasn't expecting at the beginning of the season, and there are some teams where I thought they would be. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top. I'm going to be very critical of some teams in the table. I really am. Some teams I'm not going to be critical of because I think they are in the right position for where that team should be. But some other teams have really disappointed me this season, and I'm just going to give it for them. The Canterbury Bulldogs are bottom with 6 points. I feel sorry for Bulldogs fans, but this is a rebuild season. I think they have to be careful about how they go about the rest of this season and into next season. They have a very young squad, very inexperienced team. For the most part, there's a few senior veteran players still around, but for the most part, it is a very inexperienced side. I did not expect them to be this bad. Some injuries have hampered them throughout the season. Losing Dylan Napa for patches of this season has hampered them. He's a key leader in the forward pack. But you have to look at the amount of players over the last couple of years that they've lost due to salary cap. They had to make a choice about who they kept and who they released. And the salary cap, they were hammered by it in the last couple of years. I feel sorry for where they are. Can they get better? Well, when they do actually throw the ball around a little bit, they look really good. They don't have any fear this side. I think the issue is defensively and that lack of experience and that lack of leadership at times. When things start going against them, the heads drop. But it is a rebuild season for the Bulldogs. Can I see them staying bottom? Well, with some of the teams above them not playing well, and if they get on a little run, they can get out the bottom. They can get off the bottom and they can at least be competitive. I think that's what their goal is for the rest of this season, is to be competitive and try and win as many games as possible, because otherwise they risk getting cut off at the bottom. There is one team above them they can catch and pass, and that is the Gold Coast Titans. The Titans have been not what I was expecting this season. They promised much, delivered little. 4 wins on the board. That isn't good. That is just not good. They started the season with no wins in 5 games, so they really gave their rivals a head start. 8 points after round 14 is just not good enough. With the talented players they have there, it's not good enough. And that's just plain and simple. There is no hiding from this. They have been poor. Yes, injuries have played a part, but at the same time, they've got some talented players, and they shouldn't be where they are. They should be much higher up. But I think it's a Queensland thing this season. I think all 3 Queensland sides could miss finals football, and we've got to get to the other 2 yet. But they should be better than that. The Penrith Panthers, they had a poor start to the season. They've started winning games now. Have they left it too late? They could go on a run, and it's very congested from Canberra all the way down to Penrith. There's only 6 points covering most of the table. So it's not a foregone conclusion that they could actually get into finals football, but it's their points differential, and their defence has been shocking. And while they're winning games now, they've still got to overcome leapfrog a lot of teams to get up here. And they've given a lot of their rivals a head start. Really disappointed with the Panthers, especially with the talent they have there. And there's also been rumours of player unrest with Tenny Zelezniak leaving, and other players rumoured to be unhappy as well. There is some dressing room unrest there. There is some tension in the team, partly because they're losing games. They've started winning games now, but the first half of the season they weren't playing very well. Their defence was poor. They've got a great forward pack, and their backline is talented, but they should not be where they are, although they're on a winning streak. St George Illawarra Dragons, injuries have done them, and off-field dramas with Jack de Belin. They've lost Widdop, injured. Corbin Sims breaking his arm. He was out for a lengthy spell. Other players have been injured as well. They're losing Jack de Belin on the no fault, no stand down policy. We could debate that to death. That's hampered them, but I think how congested the table is. Couple of wins, they're above the line. They're in the top 8, so it's not all lost yet, but they should be doing better. Brisbane and North Queensland both on 12 points and 12th and 11th. Really disappointed with both sides. Brisbane, really poor start of the season. Got some wins together and have been poor again the last couple of games. Is it Anthony Seibold? Is it the squad? Is it a bit of both? I think it shows how good Wayne Bennett is as a coach, because he had most of these players last season. They were much better than they are this season. It shows how good Wayne Bennett is as a coach. Anthony Seibold, he's a younger coach. It's his 2nd full season in first grade. I'm not saying it's all on him. I think there are some players there who aren't playing at their potential, and there are some players there who may not be there come next season. A lot of questions have been asked about Darius Boyd as captain, the lack of experience in the forward pack, because that is a very young forward pack, and they haven't. The failure to keep Corbin Sims, the failure to encourage Sam Thaiday to play another year, I think that's part of the problem, is their lack of experience in the forward pack. The North Queensland Cowboys, I think they are missing Jonathan Thurston more than they would let on, but the rest of the players there have not performed to their potential this season. Lengthy, they've been indifferent and they've had some heavy defeats in there. But again, they've been better recently, and they're not far off the top 8. But they gave their rivals a head start. The New Zealand Warriors, inconsistency. They're either really good or really bad. They've been like that throughout the season. Enough said, really. They do this a lot. But again, very close to, there's so many teams on 12 points that a couple of wins, they're up here, but then the teams above them are winning as well. It's such a congested table from Canberra all the way down to Penrith. I think even the Roosters and the Rabbitohs down to Penrith. There's only 8 points covering most of the table. There's not really that separation yet. But the Warriors, their inconsistency. West Tigers, much the same. They're either really good or really bad. There is no win ugly. It's either they win well or they lose badly. But they're only out the top 8 on points differential. That is how close they are to finals football. We've still got a long ways to go in the season. Points differential is what is keeping the West Tigers below the top 8. Some of those heavy defeats they've suffered, including against Parramatta, have put them where they are. Parramatta are only in the top 8 by virtue of the fact they've had some massive wins at home. Parramatta's home form is keeping them in finals football hunt. Their away form is patchy at best, and they're inconsistent away from home. But at Westbank, they are just something else at Westbank. That is what's keeping them in the top 8, is their home form. They need to be more consistent away from home, and they need to be more consistent in general, because their inconsistency is hampering them. Cronulla at 7th. That's pretty much where they were predicted to be, was bottom half of the top 8, really. I think they're on a slight downswing. Injuries have hampered them. Wade Graham has come back, though. That's a big boost to the side. But injuries to Moylan, Paul Gallen's on his last legs. He's not got much longer left. I think he's retiring at the end of this season. They need to be a little bit more consistent. They have been misfiring all season. They've been hot and cold, but they're about right where they should be. With the team they've got and the issues off the field they've had. Then we look at the Manly Sea Eagles, much better than advertised. One of the weaker squads this season in the top 8, because they found a way to win. They've lost some games here or there, but they are pretty solid. They work hard for each other. They are above expectations. So they're a dark horse in the top 8. Same with Newcastle. They weren't expected to be as good as they are. But for so many years of losing, they're finally a winning team in the sense that I can say, look, they've gone on some lengthy winning streak this season. They hit form at the right time. They got some momentum. There's been a few little wobbles on the way, but they fully deserve to be in the top 8. Fully deserve to be where they are. Canberra, again, weren't expected to be this good. They were expected to be more mid-table, but they've actually been... They're my favourite team in the NRL. They have been much better than people anticipate them to be. They fully deserve to be in 4th place with 18 points. And they're breathing down the backs of the Sydney Roosters and the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who are both on 20 points. The Roosters have slipped up recently. They've had some shaky play. Injuries are hampering them. The Rabbitohs, look, when they lose close games, so they're not getting battered. And Wayne Bennett has done a great job with the Rabbitohs. He's carried on from what Anthony Seibold did last year. They've been pretty good this year. And of course, the Melbourne Storm top with 24 points. The Melbourne Storm, they're trying to go to yet another grand final. I think there'll be 4 in a row if they make a grand final this year. They are a machine of a club. All the teams below them, it's a very big fight from Penrith to the Rabbitohs is 8 points. So from 2nd to 14th is covered by 8 points. But some of the teams below the cut-off line for finals football have really bad points differentials. The top half, there's a bit of congestion with Newcastle, Manly and Cronulla. The Raiders are by themselves on 18 points. The Rabbitohs and Roosters, the Rabbitohs have the better head-to-head. And then Melbourne fully deserve to be where they are. But there you go. That's a quick look at the 2019 NRL table after round 14. Some teams are doing, well, should not be where they are. Other teams are surprising, and some teams are bang on the money. And the top three are bang on the money. Canberra are a surprise package. Newcastle and Sea Eagles are the surprise package. Cronulla, right where I thought they would be. Parramatta, much better than last season, but their away form is killing them. And then the rest, it's North Queensland and the Brisbane Broncos should not be in the bottom half of the table, but they are. So there we go. There's a quick look at the NRL table after round 14. There are some surprises in there. Place your surprises in the comment section below. And of course, please like and subscribe. Place those comments below, and I will have some more videos for you very, very soon.